Okay, so it seems that there's a big problem with YouTube censorship at the moment, which could actually, get even worse. And this is something that a lot of people haven't actually seen, haven't really pointed out, which I thought I wanted to talk about because, again, it's getting even worse. And it feels like the YouTube system and the YouTube censorship that is coming to the site could actually affect a lot of VTubers and VTubers specifically, because recently I was actually alerted to something by one of my viewers of, something that could actually affect how a lot of VTube viewers are seen, and, how many of them could actually get flagged up for false ID things, for something completely kind of, separate from VTubing, but also kind of linked. Now, obviously, this is a post from Arxia. Obviously, it's only got one like, which is me, but obviously they tagged me in this because they wanted me to see this, and I thought it was a very interesting talking point because obviously, whenever you search up VTubers on YouTube, it'll be interesting to see what kind of goes on, because currently, with the whole YouTube system, they're trying to change it, so essentially you have to provide ID if it thinks that you are underage, and obviously it will do that by looking through the videos you're watching, kind of looking at your interactions on YouTube, and then determining it based off of that, which is pretty crazy, especially if you watch certain types of content which could get you flagged up for that kind of stuff, and you could get flagged up as a VTuber or as a VTuber watcher due to this one channel. Now, they said, I recently checked what YouTube's AI could use as a common reference for VTubers in general. I'd really wish they changed their channel's name and not use the generalized term VTuber as a channel name. Now, this is what came up for them. Now, obviously, they searched up VTuber YouTube, but I also just searched up VTubers myself on YouTube, just as a, flat kind of thing. And it was one of the first things that came up. So obviously you got the sponsor, and then you've got the channel for VTubers itself. You got just VTubers. Again, it seems fine, and obviously you got my video there, hell yeah, and Kenji too. But essentially this channel, VTubers, is a kids channel, which is run by the same people as Ryan's Toy Review, I'm pretty sure. And essentially what they've done is they've created a channel full of virtual kind of tubers, I guess. I mean, they technically are VTubers. I think they're using AI. That looks like an AI thumbnail right there. But again, obviously I don't really know. But yeah, it seems like a lot of, they're using a lot of different like VTuber models in a kind of kid-friendly, fashion. And well, this is what's dominating the top of the VTuber kind of category because of the, a massive amount of people coming over to this channel and the massive amount of subscribers it has with 3.35 million. Now, this obviously, as the user pointed out, this could be, something going towards, what YouTube could deem as, oh, this is what VTubers are, Obviously, they could look at the kind of, keywords, go through the channels, and obviously see that this is one of the biggest ones, and then flag it up as more of a child thing, more of a kid thing, rather than obviously what VTubing actually is. Because let's be real, although these are virtual kind of, they're virtual avatars and things like that talk and whatever, like a VTuber, they're not really indicative of what the VTubing community is all about. They're not in the VTubing community. They just make kids content. Let's be real. And obviously that's going to be a big issue because YouTube could falsely flag a lot of people, a lot of VTubers for being underage due to watching VTuber content because it's associated with this name, which is run on a kids channel, which I do think could be a big problem because obviously this is all run by AI as well. Like the YouTube verification system of, trying to figure out who should be restricted and who shouldn't be obviously is going to be run by some sort of AI system, which obviously has a tendency to mess up. And we've seen that with things like, for example, Twitch and their censorship, which I also have another video coming out about, which essentially, they also have messed up massively with their detection of bots and people with them actually removing real viewers from chats. And so what's to say that obviously YouTube can't be do the same here, mess up the same in terms of falsely flagging a lot of people. Now obviously it's not the end of the world if you do get falsely flagged, but it does mean that you are then forced to give your ID or some kind of payment credit card or something like that to essentially verify yourself, which I think is pretty ridiculous in the first place. And obviously, as I said, we already have the big issue, for example, like Lucy Pye here saying, I miss when the internet valued anonymity and privacy. Face scans are invasive. Asking me to upload my literal government ID is invasive. I don't trust these companies with my information. And I don't want to be part of some mass data leak when that will inevitably happen. It sucks. And obviously, that is 100% true. Obviously, we covered this tweet in a previous video. But essentially, obviously, VTubers don't want to give their, full ID to these companies because obviously it could get leaked. It could get, kind of targeted by hackers due to it being run by private companies, because a lot of this isn't run by like government websites or anything like that. So obviously it's not secure in a way that maybe the government could protect it, but obviously instead it's being run by, you know, these private companies with private databases, which are very easily targetable by a lot of hackers and a lot of people who want to get access to that information. And obviously that could then potentially lead to the exposure of thousands and thousands of people's information going out, but also VTubers' information going out, which obviously, you know, with the whole anonymity thing going on with VTubers, you know, they do not want that to happen. And I think that is one of the things that could cause a big problem. And I think, you know, channels like this is going to, you know, obviously force a lot of VTubers to then give up their ID and potentially, you know, get their identity exposed online, which obviously is something that a lot of people don't want. And it's also why a lot of people are considering obviously leaving YouTube, leaving spaces like this, so they don't have to provide this kind of stuff. And obviously it is getting worse and worse and worse, and it's moving over to places like America as well. For example, this TV Reviews tweet saying YouTube goes mask off on the censorship. Let's break this down completely on what this post can mean going forwards. And obviously YouTube put in a reply here saying, as you mentioned in your reply, this won't be required for all users. We've always had the option for age verification via ID or credit card if someone is incorrectly estimated to be under 18. This update is about using better technology to make these estimations. And then they're obviously saying, let's break down what this means. They said, this won't be required for all users, and we've always had this option for age verification via ID or credit card. What they mean by this is that YouTubers that already get paid by Google, or those that actively pay for YouTube Premium, is most likely exempt from their account being flagged. Could be wrong. They say, this update is about using better technology to make these estimations. YouTube is rolling out an AI system to estimate if your account is under 18. This means it will likely use the content you engage with normally to determine if the account needs to be restricted. So, for example, if you watch cartoons even as an adult, this AI could flag your account to restrict it, which, yeah, obviously could, you know, be the same case for this. You know, people could see this channel and obviously, no, YouTube could see this channel related to VTubers as a whole and then flag anybody watching any other VTubers. You don't have to watch it. I'm not saying like, you know, it's because you're watching this channel. You know, you don't even have to watch this channel. It's just because it relates the name with this channel. It thinks, oh, it's just kids content, which obviously it is not. And obviously they say, so what does this mean overall? YouTube's solution is that you just put in your ID or credit card to fix your restriction. Most people will use their credit card over putting in their ID to verify. This means that YouTube sees a potential possibility for the people that put in their credit card information to one day buy premium. As for the ID usage, this is a way for YouTube to monitor you even more effectively and let advertisers know what you want to see. Actually gross considering what YouTube is doing with this update that invades privacy, which, yeah, it's 100% true. Obviously, you know, this isn't just a case of, you know, let's just keep the kids safe, let's just keep them you know, from viewing anything bad on YouTube or whatever. No, this is more of a case of, you know, YouTube want to take your information, they want to take your credit card information, and they want to sell this data off to a lot of companies so that they can sell you even more stuff through YouTube ads and other places like that, giving them even more money. And obviously, you know, it's just one of these things where they kind of like throw this kind of blanket on of like it's all for the kids and stuff, but then they're actually doing something completely nefarious behind the scenes. And that's the same with like all of the other censorship stuff that's going on, not just on YouTube, but also for other companies as well. You know, people saying maybe I'm missing something, but don't they have to implement this because of the UK laws? I said YouTube outlined this for the USA, a completely different country that shouldn't mess with another country's privacy. I said, I don't understand why they insist on doing this, everything to force users off their site. You know, there are alternatives for these things and you should use them as much as possible. Rumble for YouTube, Kick for Twitch. I mean, let's be real, YouTube is so big at the moment that I don't think anybody is going to be going over to Rumble. I think this is one of these things where, you know, especially for VTubers, like not wanting to get exposed, it's either going to be a quit or stick kind of situation. It's not going to be, let's go to a different platform, because again, it's just never going to reach those numbers that you would on YouTube. And I think that YouTube has such a big platform that it's kind of hard to move elsewhere. Now, for places like Twitch, for example, you know, you've still got like places like Kick that have actually done really well and are actually growing pretty massively at a really quick rate, which obviously, yeah, can provide you with another space to go. And also you've got YouTube streaming as well, which is also as good too. So again, obviously a lot of people will be considering that for streaming if streaming gets worse as well. But yeah, essentially that is a little bit of an update on the situation. again, I just kind of wanted to share with you guys what I found, and obviously thank you to this viewer Arxia VT for showing me this, because obviously I wouldn't have known that this channel existed, because again, I'm not really watching that kind of content, am I? But obviously, yeah, whenever you search up VTubers on there, they do come up. So there is a potential that they could start to associate this channel's name with VTubers as a whole, potentially flagging a lot of your guys' accounts and also a lot of VTubers' accounts. So again, we'll have to wait and see if the AI does mess up on that part, but I thought I'd make you guys aware just before, you know, any of this kind of stuff kicks off. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also go to GameSubs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off again. We got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, that's about all I got, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So, see ya.